Welcome back to a series so hard of gold. Even saying tone test is great. In today's video, as we've seen in the last video, Legal Mindset unfortunately did not give proper context when it comes to the overall situation of the copyright strike situation when it comes to MrPokke and Saint Test. Now, I will be honest. Context matters a lot when it comes to these situations, and the more facts you present, the more nuance there is to this entire ordeal. And I don't want to throw shots at legal mindset here, but as a lawyer, you kind of want to do a little bit more due diligence when presenting this type of stuff. So we're going to go over both sides and see what's going on. We're going to start off with MrPokke because Saint Test's response is an hour long. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. And if you enjoyed that type of video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. More of that coming here.
I guess I better go subscribe to VXV Gacha.
Welcome back. So, I'm not sure if this is your first time chancing upon.
When the hell is this pimple going to go away, man? Like, this pimple has been residing in MrPokke's nose for all this drama, man.
So, I'm not sure if this is your first time chancing upon my channel, because it might be
W presentation. A lot of people are going to come from Legal Mindset and try to see more about this. He's giving a presentation for them. That's pretty good.
First time entangling in this mess called a gacha war drama, right? Regarding gacha game content creators, specifically with myself, as well as another individual called Santondes. I'm going to assume that you probably did not watch my content before because Legal Mindset has made a video to kind of address and provide fast facts on the...
Very fast, man. Just a quickie. He gave us a legal quickie. A legal quickie, man.
Versus Santondes copyright battle. So the objective of this content that we're going to be doing today is to clear up any possible doubts that you might have, especially considering Mr. Legal Mindset has never reached out to me a single time throughout this entire course of this chain of events.
I don't think he needs to reach out to anybody if he's gonna look into the situation from like an outsider outlook. I mean, I don't think he's gonna reach out to people. It's like I don't think people that do research and just present what they found and gave their opinion on it, they're not gonna typically, like 90% of the time, they're not gonna reach out to the parties that are gonna be talking about. However, Legal Mindset did not do a great job when it comes to how deep the research went, because I feel like a lot of context was missing and a lot of facts too, and therefore, obviously, it kind of changes the overall outlook in what was presented. Sadly.
And for someone that's making this game literally called fast facts, right?
Yeah.
I think it is very important that facts should be presented, right? So without further ado, let's just jump into what we have right here today. And yes, right? Look at that transition. Transition, bro. I have taken the liberty to watch the entire video from Legal Mindset talking about the fast facts within Santondes, as well as myself, and how this is going to be taking place, and just addressing a couple of things that he may or may not know or understand. Because frankly speaking, I am guessing Legal Mindset only got his opinions from either Santondes, Tectone, or whichever the community is going to be. Because he definitely did not gain anything from my perspective, right? So without further...
I don't even think he got enough perspective from either side, because had he asked, he would not say that it was all because of Arcanized Enfield. He would not say that, because obviously it's not. Even if he were to ask Tectone or Saint Test, obviously it's not. Maybe Tectone in passing, because Tectone's like traveling or something, but like besides that, I seriously doubt he consulted them. I seriously doubt, because obviously that shit is not how it goes, man.
Let's go right here, right? So here are his opening statements, right? MrPokke and Santondes are YouTube creators in the gacha space. Gacha is spelled without a T, but it is what it is. This is agreeing over the...
Which, by the way, does not look good for, when you're a lawyer, like misspellings and like grammatical errors, like very costly, man. It's very costly. So, I don't know, man. You want to be careful there, Legal Mindset, because if you present yourself as a lawyer, be careful there, brother.
New game Arc Knights Enfield. MrPokke mocked Santondes in the Art of Gacha War, to which Santondes responded with the tragic downfall of MrPokke. MrPokke then strikes Santondes on YouTube, releases the tragic downfall of Santondes' career. This was quite recent, by the way. This is quite recent. It doesn't really have anything to do with this current situation, which is Art of Gacha War. But to kind of summarize a little bit, right? The plaintiff, based on Mr. Legal Mindset, is MrPokke, a Singaporean gacha content creator who issued the copyright strike. The defendant, Santondes, or he's going to be labeling as Saint, whose video was removed. And then the cause for this was intense disagreements over the game Arc Knights Enfield. And then
Which is false.
MrPokke released the Art of Gacha War where I mocked Santondes. He responded with a 1 hour 22-minute reaction / rebuttal, and then I striked against Santondes' response video. So that is what he said, right? That's based on what Legal Mind said. So here are some clarifications as well as some things for your considerations as well. First of which, this is false, by the way. The intense disagreement over the game Arc Knights Enfield, it is completely wrong. It is not about Arc Knights Enfield, but it is with a systematic defamation and attack on myself and my branding for over 25 videos in the course of this entire year. You can check out all of my previous content to kind of see who this in the
By the way, MrPokke went on a revenge farm where he farmed Saint Sontas' this entire situation for Saint Sontas. I think more than 25 videos in the course of like a month or two. That's right. He was fast. Like he caught up very fast, man.
The video Santondes really is like, and it's not just for me, it is for numerous
He got tilted for being called Singaporean?
Right? So number
No.
one. Number two, mocking Santondes with my Art of Gacha War, right? This is also false because in my entire Art of Gacha War video, you can scream through the entire transcripts. I did not mention Santondes' name a single time.
That's slick. That's slick. Come on. We know the lore. And if anybody knows the lore, we all know that's you mocking him. So here's the thing. Considering the whole legal aspect, I see what he's trying to say. But when it comes to us, the audience, technically, considering what the streets were saying, it's obviously you mocking Saint. But I see what you're trying to paint. It could work. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Sure, I use his face as a thumbnail for a couple of seconds here and there, but the video was not about Santondes. It is
Whoa. Let's relax there, man.
Addressing how these gacha tribalism tactics has been manufacturing across the different gacha game communities. If you've heard of these games like Genshin Impact, right? Wuthering Waves, Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone, all these gacha games, they fundamentally always have these group of people which will display gacha tribalism. That was the purpose of this video and not about Santondes. Now,
He's slick. I see what he's trying to do, man. He's slick. You gotta respect the slickness.
copyright strike against his response video. This is probably where the framing is
Pokke acting like he doesn't cause shit too. I mean, he's the ultimate rage baiter, right?
wrong from legal mindset's perspective, because it was not to silence Santondes, right? But it's because he directly stole, right? Steal and damage my product by reacting to it almost at 100% and uploading within 12 hours of my upload time on top of multiple bad faith arguments. I'm not sure if Santondes ever
Multiple bad faith arguments. I wonder who did that to who. The hypocrisy of people sometimes, man, is crazy. I understand it, but it's like, man, you complain about people doing it, but then you do it too. Jesus Christ, man.
show you throughout the entire video, he called me the R word, right? He called my editors the R word, right? He called my church, my audience the R word, and all those kind of bad faith arguments. But we are gonna be able to provide context, right?
Wait, you have a problem with someone calling you retarded online? Okay, let's see how he explains the bad faith arguments. I'm genuinely curious.
Right here today. Now, moving on to the next one, the demands and responses, right? So based on Mr. Legal Mindset, I issue an ultimatum demanding Santondes a public apology, the deletion of all videos mentioning myself, which is gonna be MrPokke, and a permanent cease and desist from Santondes ever speaking about MrPokke ever again, where Santondes counterfeit a former DMCA notification and hired H3 or Eden Klein's lawyer to write that letter, right? And the escalation is, I have publicly committed to a real lawsuit, claiming no mercy, and that I hired a Singaporean lawyer, right? So this is
That
gonna
doesn't
be
make
the
sense.
demands and responses. So
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like, I think Pokke obviously may have consulted with a Singaporean lawyer, but obviously, in order to move on with the claim, he will have to resort to a U.S. lawyer or a lawyer or a firm, whatever. But obviously, he needs someone in America to be able to continue with this procedure.
here is what really happened, right? My demands right here on this tweet. It has absolutely nothing to do with the copyright strike, right? The copyright strike viciously reacting and stealing my content. Every single step along the way in the past 2 weeks, I have given Sentones options to de-escalate, take accountability, to which he either ignored or he weaponized. You can literally see him streaming the very next day when he said he wanted a peaceful resolution. He calls me a gacha terrorist on all 3 platforms, YouTube, Kick, as well as Twitch. Right, to say that I did not want a resolution out of this, there's only one party that does not want it.
I don't think that's what Legal Mindset said, to be honest. Okay, so what did Legal Mindset show? These are the tweets that Legal Mindset, I think, he uses for reference. At every point of the road, you had the option to take the better path for yourself and everyone else around you. Now you believe hiring a lawyer to draft a counter notification will give you legal grounds to steal my content. All right, I'm actually prepared to give you an actual lawsuit. Sleep well.
And a little bit of the context of this, there was a raid on some Discord servers with some illicit material that was posted. Now that has nothing to do with the legal scenario, but some of that sentiment probably in there. So one thing I point out, de-escalation and peaceful resolutions are often the best result, not lawsuits, not going through the legal process. So anytime I see somebody throwing that out, I think they're really getting into an area that's over their heads. But let's get into the actual law and the way it...
Yeah, so basically Legal Mindset did not say you're not trying to de-escalate or anything. Basically, the tweet he's shown is you saying, I'm prepared to give you an actual lawsuit, which are your words. Yeah, I think this is a bit of a Pokke L here. This is you misrepresenting the facts. Now be careful there, Pokke.
And that's not going to be me, right? So my demand on this act over here, right, this statement, it is not blackmail. It is not, I'm not forcing Sentones, because frankly speaking, he can ignore it completely, right? It doesn't really matter. But the strike itself, it is still fundamentally me protecting my product from someone that outright is just stealing, right? It's like, for example, right, if Sentones stole an apple, right?
Stealing is a strong word here. This is like, of course, like I understand where Pokke is coming from. It's like this weird gray area. But stealing is this strong freaking term, man. You know what I mean? It's very strong. I don't know about that one, to be honest with you.
I'm an apple tree farmer, right? He stole an apple from me, right? He steals my apple.
I would call it he defames me, 100%. That is accurate. Now, defaming you is accurate. Stealing the content, considering what we know of fair use, that's a reach.
Eats my apple. He tries to sell this apple to his little audience, and like, oh my god, Chad, this apple sucks. The apple that I stole from, it sucks. Actually, this guy is his editors are his order just goes on and on and on and on. So like for this particular instance, I think it's gonna be a little bit obvious to see why this copyright strike happened and whether or not you think it's gonna be in good faith or in bad faith, right? Now, moving on into the next segment, and that is going to be the jurisdiction and region issues, right?
So there we go. This is very important. I think this is important context and clarification that is needed if you've watched Legal Mindset's video.
Is basically where Legal Mindset thinks I'm going to be at a disadvantage because YouTube is, at the end of the day, under US jurisdiction, right?
Absolutely.
It is going to be a US company and it's going to be a US federal law. So if I do want to consent to jurisdiction, I have to consent to the US. So this is going to be whatever
America, man, America.
this state is going to be from. And then I have an issue, probably assumed by Legal Mindset, where MrPokke allegedly...
Support for harassment, not copyright. Holy shit, this is so fucked up. You can easily copyright strike and hold a sword at someone's neck by using that system better than harassment, obviously. Because harassment is hard.
Singaporean lawyer. But a Singaporean judgment cannot be enforceable for YouTube. It has to be a US lawyer, right? It has to be filed in the US federal court. To which this is correct.
Why did it take him 21 days to copyright strike the video if it was bottled? How close to the upload? I'm playing devil's advocate here when I say it took him some time to get like the legal team and everything ready before just taking this wing.
I will be pursuing action based on the U.S. judicial
There it is.
system.
There
And
it is.
Literally just takes you 5 seconds. Just ask me, bro. Just ask, right? Just ask me, and I'll gladly tell you.
Well, he doesn't even need to ask you. I knew that already. I think this is legal mindset, not doing good research.
But you didn't, right? I did not hire a Singapore lawyer, and it would have literally been so easy for you to just ask me this, and you would not have went on this entire debacle. And I have counsel from a full U.S. legal team specializing in copyright laws. They are not
There
from
it is.
Singapore.
Yeah.
They are based in the U.S.
Yeah, he said that before. I remember him saying that verbatim. I remember that.
So essentially, as of this point, from the moment of the counterclaim, I have 10 U.S. business days to file legal action against Santones. And this is probably going to be either the 3rd or 4th of March, depending on the time zone, right? So that is probably the timeline I'm going to be working with. And I gotta just want to say this, by the way. Did you guys know that because Santones is from the US,
Yeah.
it's actually easier for me
Oh,
for this entire debacle? Because if Santones was
true.
not in the US,
True.
this means that he would have to be extradited from another country to bring into US judicial system. But if Santones is from the US,
yeah.
theoretically speaking, if I filed my content with the US Copyright Office, and if this was to go into federal court, do you think it will be easier or more difficult for the US federal court to issue its sentence on a US resident? Food for thought, right? Food for thought. Now, moving on.
Yeah, obviously, it'll make it easy. Sure. Like the process gets to be smoother since Sage is already there.
Next, this is going to be very, very interesting. So this is where legal mindset uses fair use analysis. I think, first of all, I think he also mentioned it in his video, this is not legal advice, this is not legal counsel, this is just purely his opinion, right? He feels this way, right? He feels it, even though he's a lawyer or not, he feels this way, where we are going to be splitting this.
Well, obviously, it's because he's not like a. Even if he's a judge, ultimately, it's going to be the judge that's going to be handling this case. Like a lot of lawyers will give you their legal advice. They give you legal advice, but ultimately, it's all advice. You know, like it's advice. Like, hey, it can still go a different way. There's nothing like, except for some cases. You know, except for some cases, it's like black or white. But those are rare in the court of law. That's why lawyering exists.
The 4 main things: commentary and criticism, right? The law protects the right to critique others.
And prosecutors.
100% true, right? There's no such, you can't say anything negative about someone else. This is factual. Transformative work. Santones added a 82 minutes of commentary on a 20-minute video, which leans toward fair use. And then market replacement, there's little evidence that Santones' video was intended to replace the original. It was framed as a rebuttal to my copyright strike. And lastly, the verdict on fair use by Mr. Legal Mindset, the factors appear to lean in favor of Santones, right? I will not be discussing the case that I've been building with my lawyers because it is looking very, very nice. But I'll just show a little bit of samples that I have as of right now for you guys to kind of think about it for yourselves, right? Number 1, Santones uploads almost 100% of my content, almost, right? Maybe not entirely, but almost 100% within 12 hours. 12 hours. So by releasing a full-length content upload during my peak rent, because if you guys know YouTube, your first 24 to 40 hours is at a time when the algorithm will pick up, right? It will start leaning towards this thing called a predatory market substitution, especially when we are sharing a very similar market demographic, which is gonna be gacha game audience, right? It's like if Santones was like a political streamer, right? If Santones was like making like marketing for like food.
He makes a good point here. I think he's making a good point here.
Right? Maybe he's like a traveler, he's like an IRL vlogger, right? That will be very, very different. But we are basically all coming from the same market demographic, right? So that's number 1. And number 2, this video that he made, right? This video that he uploaded 39 minutes ago. So I took this screenshot at the time of this recording. He made this from his live stream. Which means
it was even early. We did talk about that before. I think it was in my Legal Mindset video too. It was prior to that too.
The time of copyright infringement actually happened even before this 12 hours.
Oh yeah, he live streamed in YouTube too.
Where do you think this video came from? He didn't just watch it off stream and make his PowerPoint slides and make like a notes and make a script. No, bro. He watched it live on stream. And then he used the footage from his live stream to make it into a subsequent video. So if this video came out within 12 hours, when do you think this live stream happened? Food for thought. Right?
You don't know? What do you mean food for thought? You should know. What is he doing?
Next.
React like MrPokke to this piece.
Hold up.
React like MrPokke.
So this is gonna be some of the examples that I've actually procured during the reaction which is his
How funny, Mr. Mukbang talking about copyright strike? Well, obviously he's pissed at Saint.
habitual pattern of bad faith arguments going against fair use critique commentary.
By the way, I think he could have literally also played legal mindset clips. He could have done that.
So, for example, if you're gonna say, okay, you know what? I believe that the ad hominem strawman critics over here is
Fucking ad hominem, man.
wrong because blah 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 blah. It is what it is. But if you say things like this,
That's rough. And the only people that could believe whatever's being peddled over here are literally retarded children. But then you take a look at MrPokke's channel, right? You take a look at his thumbnails, and he kind of is appealing to retarded children. Yeah, like the thumbnail design, like, look at this. Like, he's really going for that Genshin rated G audience right there with that one. You already know.
or this.
The thing is, this just leads me to believe that Pokke's retarded and his entire editing team is retarded. Because if you weren't retarded, you'd be able to identify there's a literal fallacy in this video and you wouldn't have published it. But the entire squad is like averaging room temperature IQ in Antarctica.
Or this.
Dude, Saint got bars, bro. He got bars.
Oh my god, what is he doing over here? Oh, he's just...
Oh my god, easy.
Oh my
Easy. Easy, Saint don't test impression. Easy, Saint don't test impression of MrPokke.
Enfield has the worst gacha in history that will lead to its
No,
EOS.
Arknights, Enfield is the best gacha in history. I'm
Easy impression. Easy. It
Portugal.
is what it is. It
Yes,
is
sir,
what it is. He's the ad hominem.
So, what do you think is the fair use critique in some of these clips over here? Because the last time that I'm aware of, calling myself, my editors, my audience, the R word, it does
Oh no, the R word. Come on. He's good. He knows it now, and the fact that this is like what he's gonna try to push, that's smart. Him not saying it here is actually smart.
doesn't really seem to hold any real value when it comes to critique, does it? So, also another photo, which I'm guessing legal mindset also just didn't know, right? Once again, I'm going to this with like 100% good faith that legal mindset is just simply unaware.
Yeah, I don't even think he knew that much. And let's face it, man. If we go to his video in his channel, that shit didn't even do good views, bro. That shit probably was not even worth it for him, man. When you look at like literally just the videos close to it, like just the next upload is literally, how much is that? Minimum 4 times, like 5 times more than the upload here. So it's like, I don't think he gives that much of a fuck. He saw like an easy situation. He wanted to upload some shit. He just did this. He just took some quick facts, it's just a quick TLDR of the situation and presented it.
Doesn't know what the situation. So here I am to clarify the situation that you're gonna be knowing. So if he did react, right? I'm saying if Santones, the good ending, right? If Santones did react to my content and take portions of my video to substantiate his claim, which would not be possible on a live stream, right? You will actually have to put in the time to work, right? Construct your points, take a clip here and there, and okay, he said this, here's why he's wrong, and it's not leading towards, okay, he's a retard, or all that kind of stuff, right? Then it would be a very...
It's kind of how I responded to MrPokke's, when he came at me. That's how I responded. I took some clips where I'm being misrepresented, where he's clearly poisoning the well. I was like, I'm just going to showcase that. And why, to be honest with you, I do not want to react to MrPokke at all. We can have a talk about it 100%. I am not, because he said that, oh, what was that? I crumble and shit. I'm standing right here, bucko. I'm right here. You know where to find me. No one is crumbling before you, buddy, especially not me. So really, when it comes down to it, when you know someone could come at you, the best way to protect yourself is to actually just take clips, take just parts of the video, and you use those to present and critique what's being said. I think that's also always the best way. Which, if you know something, by the way, because we keep bringing this example a lot, but this is going to be very important to what we're saying here, because we use MrPokke a lot as a reactor that basically ignores someone that tells him, please stop reacting to me. The fact is, MrPokke, if we go here to MrPokke, as you can see here, he just shows a bunch of clips as soon as he wants to talk about them, and that's it. And he keeps it moving. So that's it. And plus, it's never like a full react to like a YouTube video. Typically, it's like from a Twitch stream or some shit like that probably Yeet and everybody on Twitter uploaded, and that's it. That's basically what he does, and he keeps it moving. So like, it's not like a full-on react to a one single video on YouTube, if that makes any sense. Like this you take some clips, you showcase them, and to give context, and you present the context, of course, / you critique / tackle the context. Fact short, exactly.
Very, very different kind of outcome that we'll be seeing today. So
Which is basically what MrPokke is also doing here.
at this point, we are currently coming
Minus the clips, of course.
to our close.
And obviously, he did somewhat of a poor job as well, because unfortunately, as we've seen earlier with the tweets and everything, MrPokke kind of used a tweet that's painting him more in a different light than what we know, unless the dates are different. And if that, you know what, let me check out the dates. So the tweet that MrPokke showed is on February 11. Obviously, there were more developments where, like Legal Minds had shown over here, I am prepared to give you an actual lawsuit, which unfortunately I think MrPokke kind of fumbled the bag there in terms of the presentation of the facts when it comes to that particular point, unfortunately. So yeah, you were prepared to give him the lawsuit since the start. It's not like because of de-escalation or anything. It's like even before Legal Mindset did that, like you were ready to do that all the way, man. Because I think he also said here it is. So February 18, he goes, I'm prepared to give you an actual lawsuit. So it's like literally just 5 days later. As soon as Saint Tontas just counter notifies, even before the peace talks and all the DMs, because the peace talks and all the DMs happened after this, I think MrPokke has definitely, unfortunately, made a mistake in his presentation when it comes to the tweet side, because it's literally all here. So yeah, I think even in us trying to correct everything, sadly, Pokke is kind of twisting things because, yeah, I think he could have done a better job just reacting. But then again, that doesn't push the narrative he's trying to paint right now.
At this
so
point,
tough.
we are gonna be coming to our closing thoughts right here, right? Mr. Legal Mindset, I have not been aware of like what kind of circumstances you were in, right? I know you kind of cover a couple of drama regarding the tag tone and all that kind of stuff, right? But you could have easily reached out to me at any point of time, all right?
He could have just done better research, man. Because reaching out to you and Saint is obviously going to be each one of you trying to put him on your side. And I don't know about you, that's exhausting, especially when you guys haven't even hired him. So it's like, why not just look at a couple of tweets and shit like that? And yeah. Sequence of events, Pokke makes 3 demands. Saint sends counter notification. Pokke sends, okay, I'm down for a lawsuit. Raid happens. Pokke says, Bucko, if you want, we can end this peacefully. Bucko says, okay. Yeah, there it is. So basically, MrPokke misrepresented the series of events in that particular part, which is not good.
If you are gonna be making a video that's literally gonna be called Fast Facts, right?
Because I think he says here, once again, demands parts.
What really happened, right? My demands right here on this tweet. It has absolutely nothing to do with the copyright strike, right? The copyright strike, it is to protect my product as a content creator from
fair.
someone maliciously reacting and stealing my content.
Sure.
Every single step along the way in the past 2 weeks, I've given Santones options to de-escalate, take accountability, to which he either ignored or he weaponized. You can live.
Whoa. It's literally 3 days later. When he did this, when he goes, I hired H3H3's lawyer, are you, he's ready, are you, you go, I'm actually prepared to give you an actual lawsuit. And that shit in the same day. And this whole thing started, I think, in like a week. I think it was February 8th. Basically, it was 5 days. It wasn't you giving him weeks. It was 5 days. I know maybe it's because you were involved. It seemed like weeks, but hear it again.
My content. Every single step along the way in the past 2 weeks, I've given Santones options to de-escalate.
Yeah, I gave him options to de-escalate. But the moment he just tried to defend himself by hiring a lawyer, you went, okay, I'll give you an actual lawsuit. So it's like you want him to immediately comply and not fight back. That's not how things work. Like, of course he's going to fight back. And when you go, I'm going to give you an actual lawsuit, that's not you trying to de-escalate. That's just me, though. So I think the presentation here is kind of missing some context.
To which he either ignored or he weaponized. You can literally see him streaming the very next day when he said he wanted a peaceful resolution. He calls me a gacha terrorist on all 3 platforms, YouTube, Kick, as well as Twitch. Right, to say that I did not want a resolution out of this, There's only one party that does not want it.
That's not what Legal Mindset said, though. Here's what Legal Mindset said, verbatim.
The aim for peaceful resolution or de-escalation has clearly been tossed out, as seen from his recent streams or videos. Saint, please do not treat my one act of kindness to you as a sign of weakness or bowing down for your forgiveness, stating the peaceful resolution is me leaving the space. In my act of absolute good faith and kindness, feeling sorry for what happened to you, you decided to weaponize it and paint me as a gacha terrorist. When the time comes, I will quote you on your own words, no mercy. And a little bit of the context of this, there was a raid on some Discord servers with some illicit material that was posted. Now, that has nothing to do with the legal scenario, but some of that sentiment probably in there. So
Okay, let me hear that again.
with some context of this, there was a raid. By the time, a little bit of the context of this, there was a raid on some Discord servers with some illicit material that was posted. Now, that has nothing to do with the legal scenario, but some of that sentiment probably in there. So one thing I point out, de-escalation and peaceful resolutions are often the best result, not lawsuits, not
Yo, chat, type 1 if you want de-escalation and like settlements and all that good shit. Type 2 if you're like, oh, hell no. I got all this popcorn ready. What do you mean de-escalation?
going through the legal process. So anytime I see somebody,
I'll be real, man. I want de-escalation,
I
man.
think they're really getting into an area that's over their heads. But let's get into the
See, that's all he said about it.
Not gonna be me, right? So my demand on this act over here, right, this statement, it is not blackmail. It is not. I'm not forcing Sentones because, frankly speaking, he can ignore it completely, right? It doesn't really matter. But the strike itself, it is
But the moment he made a public statement that he hired a lawyer, guess what you did? You said, I'll give you a lawsuit.
still fundamentally me protecting my product from
That's
someone
fair.
that outright
Hey, more
is just
power to you,
stealing.
man.
Right? It's like, for example, right? If Sentones stole an apple, right? I'm an apple tree farmer, right? He stole an apple from me, right? He steals my apple. He eats my apple. He tries to sell this apple to his little audience. And like, oh my god, Chad, this apple sucks. The apple that I stole from, it sucks. Actually, this guy is his editors are his order just goes on and on and on and on. So like for this particular instance, I think it's gonna be a little bit obvious to see why this copyright strike happened and whether or not you think it's gonna be in good faith.
Yeah, so like I think that's the only part I think we can critique Pokke for, which obviously there's some, him trying to somewhat misrepresent the series of events to kind of, show that he was more, kind in his approach. He had like a softer approach. It's just like the other side that's just a raging demon that doesn't end. I feel like that's slightly dishonest here. Obviously, both of them went off the rails when it comes to this, and obviously understandable because now shit is after their bread, and like we know, going after a man's bread is akin to killing him. Dave Chappelle.
Right? Mr. Legal Mindset, I have not been aware of like what kind of circumstances you were in, right? I know you kind of cover a couple of drama regarding the tag tone and all that kind of stuff, right? But you could have easily reached out to me at any point of time, all right? If you are gonna be making a video that's literally gonna be called Fast Facts, right?
Yeah.
Hold up. Whoa. If you are literally gonna be making a video called Fast Facts, wouldn't it be nice to do something called due diligence? As a
That is one criticism we have to give to Legal Mindset. You gotta give him that. 1,000,000%. Pokke is so right in this. Legal Mindset, some due diligence. Obviously, MrPokke's had like a one thing. That's the only one I personally could spot. That's like, MrPokke trying to change the narrative in like this one particular point. But besides that, the fact still remains. He did not present the context and certain facts properly.
a lawyer, I think that is like the bare minimum, right? Due diligence for Fast Facts. If you are gonna be saying like, okay, you don't want to do Fast Facts, you are supporting Sentones, you don't want to be neutral, then it is what it is. I don't really care, right? But if you are gonna be presenting your grounds as someone that is neutral and making this video called Fast Facts, wouldn't it be nice if you just ask me exactly what's going on, or at least gain some sort of perspective from anyone else except from just one source?
Okay, so he still is basing that on the fact that he's getting this information from St. John Test, which it's not a reach. Well, okay, it is a bit of a reach. It's not impossible, but it's improbable. You know what I mean? I see Pokke's side. I see what he's trying to say. It is not impossible, but it is improbable. Because I think, like I said earlier, like for Legal Mindset, it's like he talks to both of you guys, it's gonna be tiresome, man. It's like you guys are obviously gonna go on tangents, trying to paint everything. Obviously, you're gonna paint yourself the better person, and he has to keep clawing through every bias you guys have there. So it's like, oh Jesus Christ. Well, I'll just do my research. He did like some quick research, failed to present the context. I think that's the most logical, let's just say how he went about it way. That makes sense to me personally.
As a lawyer, right? Because you are a lawyer, right? So this is the final thing I want to address, which is these are your own words. The biggest problem is I can't watch the video that got struck alive because Pokke would strike that LOL.
Yeah.
Legal mindset. You are literally a lawyer. All right, you are a lawyer, right? If you are a lawyer and you understand how fair use works, right? You understand how fair use works, right? Do you think it would have been potentially possible if you wanted to watch my POV, right? If you want to watch my side of the story off stream, do a little bit of background research.
He has a point here, but I don't think he was like being. I think he was being sarcastic here. There's the lol there. I think he's just making a joke.
You are a lawyer, right? If you are a lawyer and you understand how fair use works, right? You understand how fair use works, right? Do you think it would have been potentially possible if you wanted to watch my POV, right? If you want to watch my side of the story off stream, do a little bit of background research, understand the situation. And instead of just saying, oh shit, I'm not gonna be watching MrPokke because he's gonna strike me. I think that is a little bit disingenuous, but I'll leave it to the viewers to decide on what.
I think legal mindset. Because when you really think about it, intent, there was no talk about intent. There was literally no talk about intent, which is a very important factor in these cases, apparently. So like that was missing context. That's very important. Obviously, all he could have done is keep, it's like MrPokke said, like you can watch his videos, you can watch Saint's videos, and absorb the full context and then present it fairly and accordingly. So yeah, I think MrPokke here catches a bit of a W for me, man. I think this is the way and the move to do considering the current situation. Hey, look, just because I don't like the guy doesn't mean I don't call a dub when I see one.
Exactly the situation. And with that, oh shit, yes, I just realized I did not get pole roast. Oh, I did. And with that, I'm gonna be ending this very, very quick little video addressing the allegations from legal mindset. All other things.
There's no allegations. Oh, so he's alleging the fact that you might lose. I don't know. I don't know what he's trying to say with this one.
Regarding this case, like I mentioned, it is happening, right? It will be happening. It is not some Singaporean whatever thing is gonna be a problem.
Y'all gonna settle. We don't want you losing your money. You guys are not rich. You're streamers. You're making good money. True. You're successful streamers and content creators. You're making good money. True. But that shit will burn very fast because of this shit. I don't want your hard work to go on this shit for a 50-50. For fuck's sake, just settle it. I like I said in my previous video, man. Lawyers fully are professionals that are hopefully gonna de-escalate this shit, man.
And when the case is gonna be developing going forward, then we'll see what's up, right? So to close off this entire thing, Santondes has summoned Tactone, right? He has summoned Nicholas Light, all right? He has summoned, at this point, I'm guessing, legal mindset, right?
Yeah, there it is. So it's a PR move. So here we go with the internet brain rot crap.
I don't know who else he's gonna summon. Maybe he will try to summon Asmongold, right? Maybe he's gonna be summoning Asmongold. Whoever Santondes summons to do the battle, right? At the end of the day, it really just doesn't really matter because in the court of law, those people are not gonna be there.
Exactly. None of this shit matters. It's just people covering it for the sake of covering it because we're all CCs. That's why my ass is covering it. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying doesn't matter. Even what Pokke is saying right now doesn't really matter. Well, it could if you say the wrong thing. It could. Careful now, V. But besides that, yeah, it is what it is.
The only one that can reach the settlement or the judgment is either you.
Why does he move so much? Like he keeps moving his legs so much. Like is that ADHD? What's that called?
Or me.
That's good, man. You know what? Hey, like him or hate him, I think ultimately the move to do right now is exactly what he did. Got to do some PR control. Obviously, his side might become doubtful towards him when it comes to the situation. He misrepresented some things. He misconstrued some things. Pokke misconstruing things. Oh, shit. But ultimately, I do feel like he did present proper context to the situation and proper intent to this, which is very important if you're gonna be let's just say analyzing and trying to predict what the end result could be when it comes to this situation. So this keeps on developing. Saint Tess's response is a whole hour. We're gonna try to get to that as soon as possible, and so we can have both sides. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Be seeing you.